Morning everybody, it's Chris here from Student Education with the four majors this morning, 2nd of March 2011. I'm starting with the Euro against US dollar on our CTC 6-screen strategy template. Let's have a look at the daily time frame. Okay, you'll notice that the last 3 days you've seen the pair fail to break a high point. If we go with 1380, and you'll notice that this high here, if you're taking the bodies or the wicks, you can see it's slightly down, but there seems to be a definite resistance level, and we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 days now where price hasn't been able to trade any higher than the previous high that we saw in early Feb. And yesterday's candle, almost like a shooting star formation, pointing its head through that high, previous high we saw in early February, but falling back to the downside, closing lower and forming these wicks. And then on Asian market this morning we've seen little trading, but very indecisive trading nonetheless. So where to for this pair? Well, we are negative. We're still hitting resistance. For this pair to be bullish, we need to be trading above those previous highs, but we still have higher swings in this case. You can see that little upside movement over there is higher than that, which is higher than that, which is higher than that. So we still have an upside, and I think if this pair is still trading higher than the 1375 mark, then what we're seeing eventually is a squeeze occurring, and then as this trend line gets met, we might see a further push to the upside. So look at 1375, which is tested this morning as a support level. It's got to break below that, and then we might see the pair fall down to at least the trend or the previous swing in this case. Here around about 1370. So there's 50 pips in that, roughly. Previous resistance breakout. So this area here could be around 1370. We could see a move to if it breaks 1375 this morning, going into the US session this afternoon. We can go to our smaller time frames. You can see on an hourly, for example, those moves back from the high that we saw testing, and in doing so you can see that the 200 period moving average is going to start coming into play now. We have a major support and resistance level around the 1370 or 1371 area, and that's where I say we might see we need to see price break through and close lower to give us an indication that we could see lower swings to the downside. So if you draw your major trend, you can still see we have higher swings, and if you draw your intermediate, you can see we have lower swings to the downside. The euro is moving as we speak. You can see the momentum drive. Okay, look on a 30-minute, for example, we're seeing it retesting a previous support level just above the 13650 mark. It needs to trade higher than that to be considered bullish, because you can see the swings are negative. Okay, previous resistance, support, resistance, support. Is this going to be resistance, and we're going to see further downside movement? CTC is in our favor. Red on the hourly, 30-minute, 15-minute, and we're having a slight change in market sentiment on the 5 minutes. Okay, so for this to be considered bullish, it needs to obviously stay above that area of 13,750, which it's trying to do right now as we speak. We can stay above there and trade higher than the previous swing, in this case around about 13780 or 13785. Then we could see potential upside movement for the remainder of today. Okay, that's euro against US dollar. I'll be back next with the sterling against US dollar. Okay, in front of me I've got the sterling against US dollar table on our CTC screen. Let's have a look at the daily trend. Yesterday, very A lot of movement to the upside, caught a lot of people out, I presume, this previous resistance, and suckered people back down again. Not a hell of a lot of movement, but just enough just to probably keep or catch people to the upside. You can see we're now trading above a testing resistance level that goes way back to the early November of 2010. And the great beauty about this is the cable is still showing a lot of promise. It swings to the upside. It just needs to find support now above this level. You can stay above, and if we look at the intraday, if you can trade higher, then let's say you can see the 30-minute, for example, from those wicks, you're still getting this happening. We've had a break, but now cable's going to be trading against a support and resistance level, roughly around the 16250 or 6255 area. And there's a lot of noise between here and the 13320. There are pips to be made, but we need to see the price moving in that direction. You can see at the moment now the CTC strategy is not giving us a buy signal, but it needs to be trading well above 1625 in my eyes to even contemplate going long again. Otherwise, what could happen is you just get sucked in, and if you, what you see on a daily time frame is all this noise here. You don't want to be trading noise. Look at the 4 hour. It's not worth it. So not worth it. But as long as the pair can stay above, let's have a look here. In this area, I wouldn't want to see it close lower than this candle here. If it can stay higher than 13, let's have a look here, 1623 and a half, then we should see further extensions. If we look at this low and the high, we're testing now a 38.2 fib retracement area, which happens to be quite a strong fib area. We've seen it happen before, where the 38.2 has helped in most cases to see potential change in market sentiment and a bounce. And the way that cable has been retesting the highs or making a valiant effort of staying up at these highs is confirming that the market is pretty much happy with the area it's trading at the moment now, but it needs to stay at this area. I think if it falls lower, you can see at the moment now on, say, an hourly chart, you can see the price is trading below both the true intermediate trend lines at the moment now, the 20 and the 50. It needs to be trading higher than them to confirm upside movements. You can see the swings are lower, and by trading lower than that, there could be a good possibility that we could see resistance now at a previous support. So we had support, breakout, pullback. Are we going to see the trend changing to the downside now because we're trading below a major support level on an hourly chart, for example? Just be aware of that. So for this to be bullish again, it needs to do a lot of work and be trading above 16250 or 6260 in this case. Okay, we don't want to be trading false breakouts. Hey guys, that's it for sterling as US dollar. I'll be back next with Chief. Cheers. Okay, we move on to the US dollar against Swiss franc. Let's have a look at the daily. Ooh, very indecisive. That doesn't bring a lot of the last 3 days you've seen nothing but spinning tops and dojis and shooting star top formations, exhaustion candles. This one that we saw yesterday, not a lot of momentum to the upside. I mentioned that it wouldn't really trade that much, primarily because we're seeing a bit of a pullback now after a breakout. We're trading below all-time low at 935. Everything is pointing to further downside movement in this. I mean, indecision, I'd like to see a confirmation decision, and if we don't get a decision candle, then it's not worth it. You can see that if I draw a quick trend line on there, it's shocking. It really is. Very indecisive. However, if we see a decision and it takes us up, then great, but we still need to be trading above 935, 0.935 to be even considered bullish. We're trading on a very, very, very negative range at the moment now. We're trading below an all-time low at 9350. We should still only be looking for shorts, to be honest with you. You can see, looking at the hourly chart, The momentum is just sideways. It's just potting sideways. It's just doing nothing at the moment. It's a good thing I got out of my trade when I did. But you can see price is just moving sideways in this range of squeezing now. It needs to be trading above 935, where you can see the 200 period moving averages as we speak. So you break above this 932 area, and you might have enough here to get 20 pips, but you slam straight into the bottom end of that candle, or the actual resistance level on a long term, i.e. daily, and you're back to square one again. So another thing to remember here is early yesterday, you can see that the momentum though on an hourly chart is still negative. This previous swing is lower than that one, which is lower than that, which is lower than that, which is lower than that. So you can see we on an hourly we are being squeezed as we speak. So take that into consideration. It needs to break above obviously the 0.9295 area to break this trend, intermediate trend, for even us to even contemplate going this way. Otherwise it's just a fake out, and all you're going to do is get caught with your brooks down and you get a hiding from the market. Okay. I mean, how do you trade that? I mean, this is a 50-minute chart. Ouch. That's all I've got to say. It's not good. So, got to be trading above the 200 period moving average at 9290 or 9295 in this case. There's just so much volatility. It's just not worth it. A clear break above those areas would confirm potential upside movement. Otherwise, I'm still looking for shorts. You can see the price is trading above or thereabouts on the resistance level and support. And I'm going to leave this until such time as I get a definite creative answer from the market. Otherwise, I'm still looking for shorting opportunities below the previous swing, as you can see here. So if it trades lower than this swing here, then I'm looking for shorts to the downside. Hey guys, I'll be back with the US dollar Japanese yen next. Take care. Okay, let's have a look at the daily for the US dollar against Japanese yen. You can see we've been falling. Dollar's been falling against this pair for some time now. And if I just zoom out, you can see that we have tested a previous support area on an uptrend, as this price is being squeezed or trading between 2 points. Yesterday's candle we saw a lot of momentum to the upside for a short period of time, and then during the course or the latter part of the US session trading, we saw it move all the way back again. So not a very nice candle to have at the bottom of the channel. It just confirms that even though there is a slight support, that the momentum or the sentiment is not all that favorable. We need this to obviously close higher than this candle to cancel the sentiment look, because you can see we've had negative indecision on a support, but this candle we've seen it before. We need to see an updrive on this candle. It's almost a mirror image of what's happening here. You see that? So just be aware of that. I think if we're trading higher than going into the US session this afternoon, I think we need to be seeing price at least attempting to break its the high of 82.20. But then we're starting to look at possible run-ins with the 200 period moving average, and even then there's quite a lot of momentum between here and there. The good thing going for this pair at the moment now is that we're seeing higher. The swings are higher. But this freaks me out. A lot of indecision. It's just doing a lot of clawing or hanging on, and not much movement. So I think if we see a nice big up candle here, because you can see we literally are in a bit of a little. If I could draw a nice straight line, it'd be great. You can see we're hitting resistance here. It's just trading. So a nice breakout, decent breakout needs to occur. So on a 30-minute, you were looking at least trading about the 50 period moving average, because you can see that the swings are lower. We're not consolidating. The last thing you want to do is be trading against the trend. We are negative, remember that. Even though the swings are higher, you can see the swings are higher. So now we're almost in a holding pattern. I don't like the sight of this chart. It looks absolutely shocking. is resistance, support, resistance, 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 support, breaking. Now we're trading below it. It needs to definitely be trading above the 8200 mark for us to even contemplate looking at possible upside movement for this pair going into the latter part of the European session this morning. Otherwise, we could see possible changes in markets sentiment going into the US session, but for this to be bullish, it needs to be trading above 8200 to start with. If you're going to be trading above 8220 going into the US session, then we could definitely see further highs as we've broken a major pullback. Okay, and then we could see momentum. You can see we're still moving up, and we had the same thing show us on a daily time frame a couple weeks ago. Okay, so be aware of that. I mean, this pair doesn't really move all that much in terms of movement. You can see the price movement, but if we can be trading above 8200, then there could be a definite inkling that we might see further upside movement during the course of today. Hey guys, that's it for today, and I'll see you first thing tomorrow morning as usual. Keep your trading neat and tidy. Trade what the chart tells you. Don't get suckered into getting too hung up on the fundamental side of things. Just look at previous support and resistance, look at trend direction, and just keep it simple. Okay, it's so important to try and keep your trading simple. Can't keep not mentioning it. It is so vital. Trade with the trend, and as traders, all we want to do is we want to get our 20 pips, and if we can get that momentum drives or breakouts, then even better. Okay guys, trade serenely.